Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Utopia News Warcast for the Age of Ancestry, Year 6. Today is January the 9th. This is your host, Wind, signing on. It's been some time since our last podcast. A lot of wars have been completed since then. I do apologize. However, I was on vacation and then some other things prevented me from doing the podcast, such as not being at my computer and nowhere where I could really do this broadcast work image editing and things like that. Plus, I was just way too hammered this weekend. There's just no way it was going to go down. I did take some screenshots of some things that I was managed to look at during the time that I was on vacation, so it was interesting to see. Not too many wars actually had happened, so really didn't miss that much. It seems like the rest of the world went on vacation with me, or so it seemed. Not too many wars happened since our last official podcast, and as you can see, I posted those. Um, that was backlogged there from the last podcast starting after April. So that's May up until today. I also posted a list of undefeated kingdoms. Saps had requested that at the end of last week, actually. So without further ado, let's move on so we can get some of these wars covered because there's a lot of them that have finished since then, and there's going to be quite a bit of work to do on this one. So let's jump in. All right. So this is these are our wars for today. Now, there were a number of wars that had finished already, as I said, since the previous podcast. So we're just going to look at, just quickly touch on them. As I said, they are there. This one happened a long time ago. Faceless, we will never give up. Looks like they never gave up and did win the war. I did have some more background information on this. One of the kingdoms basically had no leadership, no monarch. They ended up winning. That was We Will Never Give Up. So I think Faceless saw an easy war there, but they weren't able to take it. We Will Never Give Up, never gave up, and ended up winning. Good job, guys. Moving on to the next one. Oh, yes, the hotly contested war. I mean, this definitely looks like one of those wars where Red Kingdom would have won if Blue Kingdom had kind of given up, kind of around here-ish. But that definitely didn't happen, and they managed to turn the tables around in about 12 hours, I believe. There was a nice final showdown that happened there between those two kingdoms. Coincidentally, around this time was the time that I was on vacation. So unfortunately, we don't get too much coverage on that, but I do have a lot of the details in that war. I will post them somewhere. I don't have them readily available at this time because there's just so much to cover at this time. But if someone's really interested, we can definitely look into it a little bit further. As I said, I do have quite a bit of detail about this about this war. What we do know is that the Blue Kingdom won. And that's all we're going to say. All right, let's move on to the next one. Unnamed Kingdom defeats Snap. They're pretty upset about that, I guess. They changed their name to Snap. So good job, Unnamed Kingdom. It's always funny seeing Unnamed Kingdom win. All right, Metallic War and Constellations. Well, Constellations defeated Metallic War. Good job, guys. Looks like Message for War defeated SV, our Natural Born Killers. As I said, all these were posted in their corresponding dates when they would have been reported on the Warcasts on the news page in chronological order, so very easy to follow. Good job, guys. Nice even war there. Good job. I mean, look at the acres exchange there. Definitely huge payoff for Message for War in this one. Not only did they take a ton of land, but they took a ton of honor. And this was a really tight war. I mean, both kingdoms are fighting really hard, and you can see by the movement here. So good job to both those kingdoms on that one. TWP and Schizophrenic Cocktail. Oh, I knew this was going to happen. Of course, the stupid wars thing is in the way. Let's just get that out of the way. As I said, before, all these wars have been posted in the end there. Um, so here we go. That was a nice start to kick this one off. Of course, that current wars has to get in the way. As I said, they are all posted. So TWP defeats Schizophrenic Cocktail. Pretty much one-sided, it seems like, on that one. Joe Blow from the Tokyo Bro is defeated by Monster Tomatoes. I mean, we kind of saw that coming as well, but again, nice even matchup in terms of provinces anyway. And it looks like Tomatoes fought pretty hard to keep that, so good job, Tomatoes. Let's see War is Raw was defeated by Jerry and the Unnamed Kingdom. I mean, it looks like Jerry had that one from the beginning, land side and honor side. Um, yeah, no contest there. Okay. Wishmasters defeats Fudge Packers. All right. Looks like there was no contest here. Same thing, Wishmasters pretty much dominated this war. No contest for them there. Olympus is defeated by Monsters, and rightly so. Monsters is down. Sorry, Monsters, even though being down by 5 provinces, still managed to kick Olympus's butt. And I think, yeah, from what I remember, Monsters was pretty much dominating this war from the beginning. So good job, guys. Definitely fought hard for that one. Um, especially so many provinces down. And you did manage to take quite a bit of honor out of this one. I mean, the enemy seems like they got a good chunk of honor out of this war no matter what. But I mean, you guys still managed to keep it real with so few provinces to do, to take that honor with. Let's move on to the next one. Classic Video Games defeats Whoops. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, looks like Whoops is up 2 provinces, so good job, Classic Video Games, for having the province disadvantage there. Honor side of things, nice tight battle. Got to give it to Whoops there. They really managed to maintain that honor despite having fewer provinces. Or sorry, my bad there. Whoops actually has the extra provinces, so it's a good job to Classic Video Games actually for managing to maintain that honor and come out at the top on the end there because they did have the fewer provinces. And as we know, honor is a lot harder to maintain when you have fewer provinces in play. All right, so good job, Classic Video Games. Relapse defeats Themeless. It seems like, you know, um, there's no contest there. Let's check the honor side of things. Again, it seems like Relapse really had this in the bag from pretty much right from the beginning. I mean, right from that first wave. Um, Congratulations, Cint is a dad. It's an interesting name. We have a random theme is victorious. It looks like this was a nice tough war as well. Let's check the honor side of things here. Honor side, not so much. But again, we have random theme down 2 provinces, still coming out on top on the honor side of things. They were bigger going in, however, about 10k bigger. Let's check the net worth side one last time. Yeah, I mean, definitely looks like Red was in control of this war pretty much from start to end. So that concludes the wars that we had finished since our last podcast. Now, quick look back at that actual wars thing. Now you see there was the last few that we covered there. Whoops is defeated by Classic Video Games. Relapse defeats Themeless, and we have a random theme defeats Congratulations Cint is a dad. And of course, if anyone wanted to see anything that may have been missed, let's see if I got some messages here. Yep. Of course, thank you to everyone who's watching who pointed out that the war graph is actually covering the screen. Thank you so much, Smiles, for mentioning that to me. I did realize it shortly into a little bit further into the podcast. But I mean, at the end of the day, we really didn't miss too much. The wars that we would have missed would have happened, in the later ones. I think the more important ones that we kind of missed were happening in this range here with 712, 210, and 25. So what we can actually do here is just open up those wars one last time because there were some pretty important wars in there. So what did I say here? 712, 210, and 25. 210, 25. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Now, as I said, this is a war that I happened to be gone for the tail end of it, um, and that just happens to be when the Blue Kingdom pulled ahead there and declared victory. I mean, there was some speculation that I may be part of this kingdom, but I think I've said before who this kingdom is. Who knows? I could be part of that kingdom. I could be half the players in the game. You never know. Maybe that's how I know about so much about what's going on. No, I'm just kidding. Too lazy to play in a warring kingdom this age. It's just not feasible with my schedule at this time. But good job, Blue Kingdom, for taking that win. Quick look at the Fudge Packer and Wishmasters War. I mean, this was really no contest for Wishmasters. They're a pretty tough kingdom generally, unless they face one of the top end kingdoms. They usually don't fare so well against the ones that will skip wars, skip sleep to march on time, and make sure they set sitters and things like that. Any of those try hard kingdoms, they usually don't do so well against. But good job with Smashers on that victory. One more look here, Olympus and Monsters. I think this is one of the wars where Monsters kind of um, we kind of saw Monsters taking this one, I think, before, even while I was gone, before that you can see here. Monsters is still doing a pretty good job taking the lead there. Uh, but Olympus just has more provinces to take the honor back with. So honor is kind of hard to look at in terms of who's doing better off there. So good job to them on that one. Let's just take a quick look here. We're just going to backtrack a tiny bit. My apologies for the screen being covered there, but we want to make sure we kind of touch on everything or as much as possible. So that was June. We'll just take a quick look at May. We Will Never Give Up has defeated Faceless Recruiting. Unnamed Kingdom defeats Snap. Constellations defeats Metallic. SV Natural Born Killers is defeated by Message for War. One thing I noticed recently is that it seems like a lot of the victorious kingdoms seem to end up on the left-hand side, while the ones who withdraw end up on the right-hand side. Maybe that's just a coincidence or something that's changed recently. I am not sure. Only David could answer that question. Since we're already going back, we may as well just take a peek at those other ones that we covered a little bit earlier. I'll just touch on them quickly, just kind of show you the graph, what it looked like, because again, you did miss that as it was covered in the first part of the presentation there. Looks like 5.9, the 5.9 war has disappeared from my screen here. Yep, it's no longer there anymore. That's too bad. I did have it open. Um, yeah, you know what? It's gone. All right. So Constellations War, can't seem to find that anymore. Metallic War, Message for War 7.5. Oh, there it is. So how come that other one is gone, but that one is not? 3.2 War. Weird. Strange that the war, I can pull up a war that had finished around the same time. It must have just dropped off the chart actually. That's too bad. No worries there. There wasn't too much that we missed there. But Faceless versus We Will Never Give Up. As I said, We Will Never Give Up. Never gave up. They didn't really have any leadership going. I think Faceless thought this was going to be a free war, as I said before. Just wasn't happening for them. Unnamed Kingdom versus Snap. Unnamed Kingdom did win. As I said, it is funny to see Unnamed Kingdoms winning. Um, Come on, guys, pick a name. I think it's time to pick a name. It's year 6. Pick a name. All right, Message for War versus SV. Clearly here, Message for War did a good job mitigating the acre intake and shoring up their TPA and WTA there for a nice solid finish at the end there. This was a pretty short war from what I can tell. I mean, they really um, made their position clear at the beginning and ended up taking away some nice honor from that. So good job pulling back and taking over the net worth side of things on this even war. Great job, Message for War. All right, so let's stop going back in time now. Looks like, oh, that stupid thing was in the way again. You know what? I give up with that this thing. We're just gonna get that out of the way now. It's a good thing we're stopping with that. Okay, let's go back here. Let's take a look at who is going to war now and who's in the top 10. Let's see. Syndicate. Wow, they really shot up there. Syndicate looks like they are really taking the lead with Romania not too far behind. Wow, I really want to know what happened in this to Syndicate here. They got a nice, serious boost. I mean, that's quite a significant increase there. It's definitely something we're gonna have to look into. And you know what? Let's do it right now. We got our 4 or 5 Syndicate. Yeah, they're huge. 1-1. I wonder what these guys are up to. Maybe they just want to sit on top for a little bit, or they're going to shore up their position at the top there. Should be interesting to see what happens there. Interesting. All right. So quick look at what's going on right now in terms of wars in progress. Let's get our nasty screen back up here, and I'm going to remember to turn it off this time as we look at it again. That was 2 times now, actually, that stupid thing got in the way. There are quite a few wars currently in progress right now. As I said, Whoops and Classic Video Games war has been completed. Classic Video Games declaring victory, Relapse declaring victory over Themeless, and we have a random theme defeating Congratulations Cint is a dad. So good job, Cint, becoming a dad. Plenty of sleepless nights ahead of you. So let's take a quick look before we go any further at our undefeated chart that I posted as well. Congratulations to 4-6. I mean, you only have 23 provinces, but still, 6 wins is pretty significant. Good job. And not too far behind, we have our 25 province kingdoms, 4-4 and 7-5 with 5 wins each. 4-10, Jerry in the Unnamed Kingdom has 4 wins, and 3-8, 5-8, and 7-10 have 3 wins. 8-8 has 2 wins, and 7-8, 8-7, 9-1, and 10-1 all have 1 win and are undefeated. So these are all the undefeated kingdoms at this time. Good job, everybody. Definitely gives, all those kingdoms that say they are the best at war or want to be the best at war something to aspire to, a target to go after. Good luck to you all, and let's try and figure out what's going on with Syndicate and Romania up here. Two unlikely kingdoms, I think, at the beginning of the age are now, in control of the top of the world. So, be interesting to see what they get up to up there. All right, the core currently at war with recruiting road runners. Looks like the core is, still in land control. Net worth wise, though, it looks like they've kind of dropped off and lost control here. Let's take a quick look at the honor side of things. Still a tight battle, but again, it looks like the core has dropped off, unable to pull back into this one. They are 3 provinces short on road warriors, so we would think that the core should be able to take this one, but it doesn't look like they are going to win this. This is quite a significant divergence here. It doesn't seem like core was ever really able to create their own divergence. So, to me, it looks like Red Kingdom's already won this war. All right, let's move on to the next one. War versus Home Sweet Home. Well, I mean, War is definitely taking more acres. Blue sitting on more acres, it doesn't necessarily mean good things for War. What it tells me is that, Blue should have a higher concentration of WPA and TPA going into this, whereas War, since they've grown a tiny bit, should have a slightly reduced one. Let's take a look at the provinces. Of course, this is a micro war. No wonder the numbers are so small. Looking at the net worth side of things, looks like War is going to take this one. They're doing significant damage. Yeah, I mean, this looks like Red Kingdom's war to win. All right, moving on to the next one. Crackerjack for Charter is, the big kingdom going into the war here. Still the big kingdom land-wise. As time goes on, it seems like Duck Says Quack is just taking a pounding there. Net worth wise, Crackerjack looks like they've achieved their divergence here following a similar pattern. Now, this is something, I always like to point out on these things here. Let me just move this out of the way. There we go. Okay, so, we always look at trend lines and patterns and things like this. And I mean, this is a pretty solid, I don't like the color of that line. Let's go to something a little bit more visible. There we go. Yeah, so I mean, if you look at Blue's trend line here, it's pretty consistent up until this point here. I mean, they've got a nice descending staircase. Um, but they're still, maintaining their ability to stay in the lead. What we see here is actually a reversal in the trend line where they're actually gaining more than they're losing. Conversely, the enemy is actually losing more than they're gaining, which is what we're seeing here. And I mean, the enemy seems like, they've been taking pretty consistent damage. It seems like they recovered a tiny bit at the divergence there, but quickly lost, or sorry, just before the divergence of blue. But then they seem to have lost control of this. To me, that kind of just says Blue Kingdom is in control of this war. A quick look at what's going on down here reveals that, that's probably the case here. Let's take a look at the smallest provinces. Crackerjack does have the smaller provinces in this situation. That's a heavy chain on that human, though. 557 net worth breaker, not that big, versus 700 on the gnome. So maybe this was just a more recent chain on sultry explosions. It's possible Duck says Quack is just trying, pulling out all the stops, trying to do as much damage as they can now. Um, got some fairies and elves on the top. Let's flip this around and take a look and see what's at the top here. We got some attackers, attackers, attackers. Elf, halfling, fairy. Maybe these three are their TMs here. Not in the greatest position, really. We got a halfling at the top here. This looks like could be an attacker, actually. Halfling, avian halfling. Where are their TMs? Okay, their TMs are in a pretty good spot, actually, on this side of the fence. As we keep going down, we got some TMs up here. Yeah, I mean, you get a nice Duck Norris. That's a pretty funny name. Fairy. Yeah, that's definitely a TM there. These halflings are definitely TMs on their side. Let's flip that back around. All right. Yeah, we got some gnomes at the top here. Those are their attackers. Dryad support. Halfling, fairy, halfling. Okay, there's their TMs. This elf is a TM as well, and this fairy's a TM. And this halfling's quite possibly a TM as well. We've got a lot of TMs actually in the higher saturations, but not too high on the net worth scale. Crackerjack seems to be doing slightly better in that regard. Fairy, fairy, dark elf, elf, fairy. Um, you know, keep in mind all these provinces have more acres as well, so Crackerjack is slightly larger here. Um, as you can see by the land chart, definitely looks like they're doing a good job here. And if they can maintain that many unbreakable TMs at the top, it's very likely this war is going to be theirs. So let's move on to wars before 48 hours. Mythcraft is at war again with StarCraft. It looks like Mythcraft is going in the smaller kingdom, is now currently the larger kingdom. Is that part of their plan to take the acres and walk away? It looks like it might be. They're having some strong waves here, and it looks like their last one was extremely strong. Yeah, this is an exit wave right here. I mean, not necessarily their exit to withdrawal, but this is telling StarCraft, hey, we can do this on every wave. It's time to give us this one. So there you have it. I think we know what's going to happen there. Even sides, sorry, yeah. So I always like to see even provinces. It makes it so much easier to judge what's going on a little bit better. Let's move on to the next one, Ghetto Nightmare versus Dyslectic Defenders. Looks like Dyslectic Defenders is running away with land on this one that they've taken, of course. Only 36 hours in, but definitely looks like they're giving Ghetto Nightmare a pounding. Definitely a strong pattern there. This definitely looks like Red Kingdom's war. All right, moving on to the next one, The Simpsons versus How Come We Can't Fund Dragons. Oh, we remember these guys. Looks like We Can't Fund Dragons actually, stronger in the land department right now, and in the net worth department. So they are taking those acres and maintaining them. Let's see. Uh, Can't Fund Dragons is one province up as well. So definitely looks like this could be their war to win. Pretty significant damage on Simpsons, over 1 million plus net worth compared to the damage done to them. It looks like they just had their wave as well. So that was a very nice strong wave by Blue. Good job, guys. May the best kingdom win. Although we think we know who's going to win this one. WTF versus Pillow Talk is back at war. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Um, Pillow Talk was just recently defeated by 4-4. Let's take a look here. Land-wise, 31 hours in. Land-wise, could go either way right now. Looks like Pillow Talk is, setting themselves apart here, um, changing the pattern a tiny bit, managing to do a bit more damage. It is part of their wave right now. So as long as they manage, whoa, look at that, that honor's just flying out there. This definitely looks like Pillow Talk. If they maintain this course of action, this is very likely their war to win. So good job on that one, guys. Pirates War versus Hostile stay out. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Pirates, the bigger kingdom, goes in, gets taken out very quickly, 26 hours in. Let's take the net worth side of things. Wow, they are seriously getting dominated. So Pirates went in the fat kingdom, and definitely just giving away acres to Hostile stay out. Looks like they are giving away honor as well. So Hostile stay out. Looks like they're getting a nice easy war off of Pirates here. They should leave this war with a ton of honor, a ton of land. Pirates, you guys might have bit off more you could chew on this one. Um, so good luck to you. But I think we all know where this boat's going. Let's move on to the next war. Winx Club agreed for war. All right, let's take a look at the land side of things. Okay, Winx Club. Checkmate. War agreed. Let me just take a look here. I got a note here. 4-4 and 7-9. Had a 2-day hostile. Just went to war. When the hostile started, 4-5 explored a lot to secure number 1. Winner of 4-4 and 7-9 will be able to leverage easily on the others. Thank you, Smiles, for sharing that tidbit of information. Anyone who was listening, definitely capitalize on a piece of information like that. All right, Winx Club and Checkmate. All right, looks like Checkmate's actually doing pretty good here. Let's check the honor side of things. Yeah, I mean, Checkmate, you're doing good. You are up 1 province, and Winx um, has, even though they've been to war quite a few times, they haven't had the best war experiences, I don't think, this age. They definitely, had their butts handed to them several times. Um, but, still, that doesn't mean that they're going to give up. So good on them for not giving up, and definitely, more to watch out of this war. Who knows? Winx could swing this one back around, but, Checkmate is a strong kingdom with lots of veteran players. They've take as we saw with the Woods War, they took that war almost 2 weeks and they still won that. So may the best kingdom win. On to our last kingdom here, Fun War versus Romania. All right, so this is our Fun War. Who is Fun War anyway? Let's see. So Romania is 7-9, so Romania is at war with Fun War. All right, Romania. Let's see what you guys can do. And who's Fun War? Fun War is 4-4. Okay, so these are the kingdoms that Smiles was talking about. That was perfect timing anyway. So as I said, wow, that's a wicked war score. As I said, as mentioned by Smiles, 4-4 and 7-9 had a 2-day hostile. They just went to war. When the hostile started, 4-5 explored a lot to secure number 1. Winner of 4-4 and 7-9 will be able to leverage easily on the others. Now take that for what it's worth. Again, it's coming from Smiles, so probably worth listening to. Definitely something to consider, and definitely one of those wars that everyone should probably be watching based on the war win record here. We definitely think that 4-4 is going to take this one. Should propel them nicely. And as I said, they are currently, I believe, one of the 2 kingdoms with 5 undefeated victories. It looks like they could be very shortly adding a 6th victory to that pile, and they will join the top as one of the 2 kingdoms with 6 undefeated wars. Now, Definitely looks like Romania, land-wise is in a good position right now. But, remember that gap there. Now look at the net worth here. I mean, Romania is definitely net worth fat here. We can tell that, or sorry, land fat here. We can tell that by looking at their net worth and the fact that it's lower than Fun War, or rather 4-4, who, has less acres but more net worth. I mean, you guys can figure that one out. That's pretty easy. On our side of things, almost no movement. Again, we're only 3 hours in, so definitely a war to watch. If anyone wants to get any news on this war, pull any news, feel free to do that. I'm definitely going to reach out to the kingdoms here to see if we can get some more information. So if anybody's listening from either of those kingdoms, feel free to reach out to me with any information that you have. YouTube's problem is it really doesn't like these videos for some reason at the end. There we go, reconnected. All right, as I said, now we'll do our outro here. Thank you so much for joining me today, all of our live, anyone who's listening live. And of course, Smiles, thank you so much for that insight with regards to the Romania and 4-4 war. That's 4-4 and 7-9 for anyone who wants to check that out later. As I said, we'll be trying to get some more coverage on that war. And look at that, we're doing pretty well in our time, even though we covered a bunch of those wars, and we even had to double back because that stupid little war thing was blocking the very beginning there. So thank you so much, everyone, for your patience, and don't feel bad if you want to skip that first part of the video with that stupid thing out of the way. It does get better. I'll definitely be putting a note in there mentioning, anyone who is watching that is removed. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Again, this is your host, Win, signing off. We'll talk to you next time. Have a great day, great night, everyone.